Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here. Yes, I'm still alive. It's been a couple of really hectic weeks though, and so I just wanted to kind of explain myself where I've been. I mentioned in a post that there's going to be some drop off. I really tried my best not to have it happen, but last week it just there was no way to avoid it, unfortunately. So I'm going to kind of go through what's been going on the last 2 or so weeks, what happened with the content, why it dropped off the way it did, and just give you an update and how I'm planning on doing things moving forward and what the timetable is for this to kind of end. So first things first, let's find something somewhere different to hunt tonight. That's the Arc Immigration area, is in staging. I haven't done. I'm trying to remember those stupid robots were. I think they're up here. I also don't think they're low enough level to do that. Let's try the... Actually, isn't there... I think there's merfolk on this island still. Let's pull out the Sleipnir. Like, I literally haven't touched this game in over a week. It's been... No, 2 weeks. What the hell? I don't even remember getting that. That's how long it's been. Like, yeah. I'm pretty sure I haven't entered this game since March started, which tells you something because I play this game all the time. So yeah. What has been happening in the world of Julian McBain that caused him to drop off on his content creation? So, as you all should know by now, for those of you who are not new to the channel, I started college again. And I'm starting from scratch. I have an associate's degree. I could technically transfer a whole bunch of credits, but it's been so long, I'm not comfortable transferring credits. So I'm just starting from scratch. So yeah, we're going all in, starting from scratch, doing a college degree in business. Currently it's in business administration. I'll also, like, I'm doing all this stuff for business administration, but literally every how did they put this in? Literally every elective is going to be in computer programming. So I got that too. So like currently I'm taking Foundations of Business Management and basically your Intro to College course because it's been 14 years since I've been in college. And next semester I'm taking the Foundations of Programming. So I've got the baseline for both of them. Now let's take you guys on. Little level 2, level 3 Watcher Tree Dragons. Aren't these like the monkeys? Where are you? You're just a plant, okay. So that I can start with that part of the curriculum as well. And what I'll do is I'll swap back and forth between business and programming every term until I run out of programming things that I'm allowed to do, and then I'll just hammer out the rest of my business. And then after that, my intent is to go for my MBA. I'm 38 years old. It's time that I get this shit done because there's actually, because I work in finance, there is a bit of a ceiling over you if you don't have a degree, which is unfortunate. It's kind of dumb, to be honest, but not much I can do about that. So gotta get the degree. I think I lost my loot on that one. That sucks. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do, and that's what I've been working on. Here's the problem. The college, the very ironically named college that I'm going to, University of the People, and I'm not saying the college is bad, it's actually really good. And for those of you who want to do business admin or computer programming, I would actually strongly recommend you look into them because they're actually, believe it or not, tuition free. And they just have minor fees. So you can do your whole bachelor's degree for like under $5,000, like beginning to end. That's not a lie. Go look it up, uopeople.edu. That's where I'm going to school. The problem for me, though, is that the first term, because they split the year into 10-week terms, you're expected to take 2 classes, which is full time. As all of you know, on top of being, you know, I work full time and I'm a single father. That means I've had like no time. It's been a very stressful 7 weeks. And of course, that doesn't prevent me from having other obligations. Like I still have my household obligations. My family had their annual gathering last weekend, which is why there was no content, by the way. Because I literally had no time to make it. Like, I tried. I sat down, it was like 9:30 at night, and I tried, and I didn't have the spoon. Excuse me, I didn't have the spoons. And so I was like, okay. And that's why I posted what I posted. And here's the thing. I actually did have some content made that... That's weird. I had an extra Virtueverse episode that was produced. And I made it ahead of time. And I forgot to upload it. That's how tired I was. So, that's where I've been. And that's what's been going on. So, like, today, in addition to normal house chores, I finished the reading on my Intro to College class, and I did all of the reading for my Intro to Business class. And so what you have to do is you have to do a bunch of reading and watch little short videos. And then there's a discussion board that you have to post to, and you have to reply to 3 other discussion boards, which, as early as it is in the academic week, there's not a lot to reply to yet. You have to do a learning journal for each class, and then there's often a written assignment, of which this week there is one. And then if there was a written assignment the week before, you also have to peer review the previous week's written assignment. So I was just completely overloaded. And the problem was getting ready for the family event. So I've got my Thursdays. I have a meeting for the State Libertarian Party that I'm obligated to go to, and that's actually finished, I do believe. I think that those meetings are now over because we finished the tasks that we needed for that committee. And yeah, somehow landed myself as the state treasurer of the party. Haven't figured that out entirely yet. I showed up to the meeting and they're like, oh, you know what you're doing. Oh. That's happened to me before, by the way. That happened to me in the SCA. They call their treasurer an exchequer. This was about 10 years ago. Actually, it was almost like exactly 10 years ago. It's be 10 years ago this November, because what happens is in June of this year, I will be celebrating my 10th anniversary in the finance industry. 10 years ago, on June 13th, I got hired at Wells Fargo as a teller. I started my career in finance, and I went from there all the way up to where I am now. And because I'd been hired by a bank, they said, oh, you'll make a great treasurer. And it's like, I've been a teller for 6 months. What you doing? But I ended up being the treasurer or the exchequer there for 4 years. And I helped write the finance bylaws for the Shire. And so because of that experience, when they saw the experience I had, they're like, look, we need someone who knows what they're doing. Can you do the job? I'm like, they voted me in and they're like, oh yeah, do you want the job? I'm like, I'll take it. It's fine. I actually laughed about it because I'm like, well, now that you've already voted. But yeah, so all that's really happened in just the last like 3 weeks. So my schedule has gone from pretty fair to middling to like, or I have no time at all. But that all ends at the end of March. And you're going, well, okay, Julian, why does it end at the end of March? Well, it ends at the end of March because that's when the term ends, and I can cut down to 1 class a week. Therefore, I'm only doing about 12 hours worth of work instead of almost 30 in my classes. They say each class is 15 hours worth of work. They obligate you to do 2 classes in the first term. And I'm looking at there and I'm like, you do realize some of us have full-time jobs, right? Like for the traditional student who is going to school, they just graduated from high school, maybe they took a gap year, work part-time maybe, not a big deal. If I didn't have a full-time job, or if I could do this full-time or whatever, wouldn't be a big deal. I could do 2 classes, no problem. Hell, I'd be tempted to do 3. No, 2's enough. But I can't. And so I have to do my 40 hours a week at my job. And I do my classwork. And unfortunately, it did mean that something had to give. It was, this last week got so bad, I actually had to call out on Thursday because my body just couldn't take it anymore. Like, I fell ill. And so I'm really sorry about the drop-off. I'm going to tell you this right now. There's a strong possibility that the rest of March is going to be pretty thin. And I'm going to apologize for that right now. Don't have any expectations for content creation in March. I'm going to put out as much as I can. I'm going to at least try to put out one a week. Like, this is my Sunday video. This is going to be posted Sunday. It's Saturday night. It's 7:55 p.m., so 1955 hours on in the Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to do my best. I can make no guarantees. That said, after this term is over in April, I should be able to at least get back to my normal posting schedule where I'm doing these videos and I'm trying to get the Boneworks episodes put together. That actually takes more time than what this did because I had to film everything in advance. And now I've actually got to use the video editing software, which is a whole adventure on its own. It's a lot of fun. And I think I'm going to be able to start putting out even better content, even if it's less frequent going forward. Figuring that out, that probably won't even start until next year when I figure out the whole time schedule thing. Because keep in mind, summer's coming, and with summer comes splitting wood. So on top of college, I'll also have wood and content creation and work and dad. And party. And campaign season. So, yeah, I'm really good at Helium Hand. And you're all like, what's Helium Hand? Helium Hand's when someone says, I need help. We need to do something. It's where you can't help raising your hand. Case in point, I might have accidentally double booked myself on Memorial Day weekend. I don't even know. Because the SCA had me doing something, but that was 6 months ago, and we're not even sure if that event is ever actually going to happen. And then they want us, the party here wants to send me to Reno, same weekend. And it's like, ugh. I obligated myself to the SCA first, so they'll get first dibs. Even though the papers please thing is really irritating me, they're requiring that you bring photo ID, which doesn't bother me very much, and your COVID proof of vaccination or test. Which does bother me because I think medical privacy is very important. And that's about as political, other than mentioning that I'm part of a political party, that I'm going to get here right now. I tried that with the Julian McBain show, and my subscriber base, like, disappeared. Not you guys who are here now, but the number of subscribers per month. So yeah, this whole thing has been an adventure. And I will say this. I'm enjoying the academic experience despite the stress. And it is a lot of stress. I crammed a week's worth of work into 3 days this week. And then Thursday I was so gassed I had to stay home for the day. I actually called out from work. I did not sleep at all that night. Well, I did sleep, just I didn't sleep. If you understand what like I don't know. I was unconscious, but there was no quality. So yeah, that's pretty much what's happened in a nutshell. And this kind of vlog post thing that's going on has been... I'm probably going to revert to this again for a while, now that we're done personal finance for gamers. There's some ancillary stuff I do want to make for that, but I'm not touching that until after we get into April, because there's a lot of prep that goes into that. I may or may not nix the face cam for a while. I'm deciding on that. But it seems to be really popular when I have the face cam, or at least it seemed like it for a while. And then, but again, it's because I niched. Subscriber count is down. I mean, I haven't lost subscribers, but the number per month. And I do need to keep an eye on my numbers. I do have the goal of hitting 1,000 subscribers this year, and it's already March, and I'm barely over the 700 mark. And I started with like 690. That's not a lot. So I need to really kind of focus in and figure out what it is I can do to really do better on that. And for all of you who have stuck through me, with me, through thick and thin, through all the crap, through everything that this channel's been through, I want to personally thank all of you. You are amazing. I really appreciate the fact that you've stuck with me through all this. You know, all the alterations, all of the different segments I've come up with, from the Entropia universe to when I did some first player or one player games. And I am going to try to cycle back to Champions of Norath. We've got to figure out how to beat that stupid boss. You know, my patrons asked me for the game. I do need to finish it. I understand that obligation. I need to not have quite so much going on. And when it came to Boneworks, I actually had all that footage. I ran through that game in like under a week, beginning to end. And originally it was just me screwing around, right? And then I'm like, I got through the entire first section. It's like, you know what? I'm just going to turn the recorder on. Like, I can't necessarily just put raw footage of this up on the internet, and because it's a 2-hour play sessions. Holy shit. But I'm just going to turn the recorder on. Maybe I'll turn it into something. And so I did. And then I got the Wonder Film Share software. And that was pretty cool. And so I started experimenting with it. It's like, holy shit, this is fun. Like, I'm really enjoying this. I'll be honest. I wish I had the type of talent that people like the Russian Badger have. Like, his videos are hilarious. He's got a crew. He goes and just messes around on Twitch to get footage. He does the Twitch thing live and to get all the footage, and then he makes the videos, and he puts all kinds of work into them. And I understand that, you know, that's his profession. That's what he does all the time. There's a different level of expectation when that's your job. But on the same token, I would love to have that level of skill. And eventually I'm hoping to get there. Now, have I made it harder on myself to be able to acquire that by filling in gaps in my life so I don't have much time to work on it? Yes. Reason? Because I know what my strengths are. My strengths at the end of the day is dealing with money. Dealing with money. That's why one of my goals in Entropia Universe this year is to be profitable. And you may roll your eyes at it because I'm not rich. That's not what I mean. And I'm far from rich. I'm still making up for mistakes I made 20 years ago. Well, 15. But if I hadn't made those mistakes 15 years ago, I would be a lot further ahead. And so, because of the experiences I've had, I focused in on the thing that I was the worst at. Yeah, 15 years ago, awful with money. Terrible with money. And 10 years ago, when offered the opportunity, I decided to learn everything I could about it. Which is why I work in finance. Why I work currently in insurance primarily. But I've had all the experiences I had. And the reason I did the whole personal finance for gamers segments, for those of you who are new to the channel and they're like, this says Entropia Universe, but this is about, you know, stock and insurance and you know, mortgages. What the hell is this about? Communicating this to you guys is one of the things I can do. And for my longtime subscribers, they already know that. Another thing I'd love to be able to get back into is the motivational speaking. For those of you who have not been with me very long, go look at the playlist McBain Moments. It's got like 117 videos or so. It was actually really popular. And it's all motivation. It's all motivation. I take quotes. So I do marketing for the agency I'm with, but those were actually produced under the previous agency I worked for, but I did his marketing too. And so in the agency, what we do is I look and I find a quote to post every day at noon. And so what I do is I take a favorite and I do a video on it. And I got huge amounts of content out of that. It was great. I might start doing that again too. That was a lot of fun. Get to kind of analyze and philosophize about things. And so it's kind of where I'd like to go back to now that I've done I felt like I was obligated to do personal finance for gamers and really put my all into it. And I did. Put everything I had into personal finance for gamers because to me, that stuff's important. That's the important shit, right? But at the same time, want to try other things too. You know, you got people that got me into Entropia Universe, Serial Overdrive. Serial Overdrive is pretty much the reason I played this game, because I started watching his video. Like, I'd heard of it, and I looked at it, and I was like, and so I looked it up on YouTube, and there was Serial Overdrive, and that was cool. And then there was Lore Spade, and he's cool. A bit trollier than Serial, but he's cool. Like, I've hung out with him, we've played Fallout together. He's a cool guy. And pretty chill. You've got the Entropia content creators that I've actually interacted with. Delusionist. I haven't really interacted with Delusionist. But some of the videos he makes are just, or he made, are just awesome. He hasn't posted in a really long time, which is kind of sad, but the content he did create, like trolling Ubers at the oil rig on Calypso. Hilarious. I didn't stop laughing. But, you know, this is... I was going somewhere with that. And in my... I just, like, completely lost my train of thought. Oh, the branch out. You know, like, Serial Overdrive branched out into Rust and a couple of other things. And Lore Spade went to Fallout 76, which I tried doing too. I like Fallout 76, but I'm not really a PvPer. You know, and I know that Lores will probably troll me for being, and so will Rincewind, for being a quote-unquote food build. My PvP is in real life, okay? If I'm going to do stuff like that, and I don't mind doing PvP. Like, I play Halo Infinite, okay? That's all PvP all the time. There's a one-player campaign, but I'm not spending $60 to play Halo again. That's PvP. I love it. I love arena stuff. Just for whatever reason, the way Fallout did it just wasn't my jam. And that's what it is. And I think part of the reason is because I would spend all this time trying to build up bottle caps, and every time you die in Fallout, you lose all your fucking bottle caps. So I think, honestly, that was probably the bulk of the reason I really wasn't into Fallout PvP. Because, I mean, let's face it, when you've got a guy who works with money, and it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, every time you die, you lose half your money. It's a great incentive not to die. But I'm not the world's best PvPer. And yes, I know I could grind and practice like the guys in, like, Phase. I did my Phase 1 entry, which I don't even know that it got much traction. I would have to look through the, I know a couple, like Scope. Scope, I think, went through all of them. And shout out to him, by the way, because he spent a huge amount of time on it. But, it wasn't where it needed to be. I wasn't making the content that they were looking for, and that's legit. Like, that's legit. I'm not bitching. But that's stuff I want to work on. Figure out what content I can create. You know? What content can I create that will attract an audience? Entropia Universe is a lot of fun. It's very, very niche. I selected an extremely niche game. I understood that. I do the Virtueverse stuff that's even more niche. I've done some Let's Plays to some mixed success. I'm not the world's best Let's Play presenter. I understand that. That's life. I tried doing the podcast. Just part of it is the act of throwing noodles against the wall and seeing what sticks. But part of it's also playing to your strengths. And I just haven't found what my exact strength in this medium is. So, okay, we're going to take down this tree dragon. And we're going to pull back a little bit. And we're going to call it here. So I can get this video uploaded so you can actually watch it this time. But, in the end, guys, I'm going to keep trying my best. Until April, I can't make any promises, and I'm sorry. I really am. After April, I'm at least going to get the Entropia content put out, or at least one segment put out. Sundays, Wednesdays. Every week. And we'll see what happens after that. Okay. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate the support. We will see you in the next one.